So I ran a fever a few days ago and ran out of things to watch, so I decided to click on a Sonic Boom clip, and it turns out it was a full episode on YouTube. I ain't gonna tell you where, cause I ain't no snitch, but I ended up watching an entire episode of Sonic Boom, and realized that it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. How they got these full episodes up, I don't know. If I so much as use a video-only clip for longer than 9 seconds, even though it's completely covered under fair use, Turner Broadcasting shows up at my doorstep with a baseball bat. But when I googled Sonic Boom, most of the results were pirated versions of it. How did y'all get immunity? Can I get immunity? Oh, and if you're wondering why my appearance changed, no, I didn't magically grow my hair out since the animated sitcom pitch. I just like drawing this hairstyle, and as for the wardrobe, I'm a critic. We're cold. The Sonic franchise. The games feel like the shell of a good product if the damn controls would work, and the show was nothing but a cash-grabbing venture of mediocre storytelling and characters as fleshed out as the ones from the third Fred movie. When Sonic Boom was quickly named one of the most rushed and poor game titles from the Sonic team, I naturally had zero hope for the Sonic Boom the Animated Series, even less when I learned that it was animated in 3D. Let's talk about the animation for a moment. It has an understanding of composition and the 2/3 rule. The art style is fairly consistent. They do make new models for every episode, and the characters move around a lot when they talk. That's pretty impressive. Every other Sonic show looks like a hot mess, to put it nicely. It's not without its cons, however. The running animations can be stilted at times, all considering that it's Sonic. And it does this weird thing where the characters are super close to the camera and are looking directly into it. Very, very rarely should a character look directly into the camera unless they're breaking the fourth wall. Action scenes are very poorly animated. The models also don't allow for a lot of eye movement with some characters, which can make them feel a bit dead-eyed. But the model does allow for extreme expressions, which is more important to have. Moving on from animation, there's nothing really to complain about as far as audio. It works. Don't do nothing wrong. It's not anything special, but it works. That is until Edgelord speaks, then he sounds like Frieza from Dragon Ball. Or an Argonian, take your pick.
Pathetic. Even with all this help, you still couldn't defeat Sonic. Out of the way, you buffoon.
The audio is level enough that someone with fuzzy hearing like me can understand without subtitles. Really, the effects and foreground noise just balance well. There's no audio dead time, but it doesn't graduate from white noise unless it wants to. Again though, this is kinda expected from cartoons these days, and even though it's super hard to pull off, isn't anything greater than anything else on the market. The characters? Well, this is the first Sonic cartoon to have characters as far as I'm concerned. I mean, like, actual characters with an appropriate amount of traits, easily differentiated mentally and physically, and likable. Now, it might be because I haven't seen every episode, and maybe they should have more traits this far into the show, but for its short runtime and chaotic nature, Sonic Boom does a pretty good job on its characterization. Styx is a crazy conspiracy theorist. Sonic is egotistical, but the only one with any common sense. Tails is a fragile engineer who's smart but can be a little insensitive to others. Knuckles is kind-hearted for the most part, but dumb as a sack of bricks, and easily impressed. And Amy is... girl? I mean, they're not three-dimensional, but they're not one-dimensional either, and for a kids show, that's kind of the norm. Doesn't excuse that they could be a little more fleshed out, don't get me wrong, but characterization is typically what sets shows like Steven Universe or Gravity Falls high up on critics' lists, and the vast majority of kids shows don't make the characterization cut. Writing could use some work. I mean, ignoring the 3-act structure while blatantly having a 3-act structure worked for Adventure Time, and as a critic, it's actually kinda nice to have that break. But in general, the pacing and moving the plot forward can be a little stilted, and it has random action scenes despite the fact that Sonic Boom is character-driven versus plot or action-driven, where action would be appropriate. Guess there's a quota on action scenes in Sonic cartoons? As far as market value, There's a lot of character-driven comedies based on interaction out there, and although character-driven is typically the most loved conflict structure, the market right now is really oversaturated. For a character-driven cartoon to stand out, it really has to do something very unique, which isn't always a good thing from a critical standpoint, looking at you Teen Titans Go. But it brings in cash, and let's face it, at the end of the day, that's kinda what matters to Cartoon Network. Sonic Boom doesn't really do anything to stand out other than it's a Sonic cartoon, which actually kinda counts. From a critical standpoint, this show has a lot of foundation, but the technical aspects are only the start. You gotta have heart too to make it work. Get it? Because the show's called TechHeart for a reason. Sonic cartoons have been about as bad as the games. They're unfinished looking, have weird storylines that don't make sense, and sometimes flush some random moral in somewhere despite Sonic not being the most moral of characters. They're typically thrown together in a rushed mess to make a quick buck because despite how broken it was, people would still buy it. No working controls? No problem. No drafting scripts? No problem. A random scene saying not to hide in a washing machine? No problem, I guess. But Sonic Boom, the animated series? It still looks like a cash grab. But why would a cash grab put this much movement into the characters talking? Why would a cash grab actually bother fleshing out characters? Why would a cash grab try to appeal to adults as well as kids? Why would the sound be so balanced? A lot of these scripts are hastily written, no doubt on a deadline, and all I can see every time I open up a new episode is new toys they could sell. The animation gets rushed whenever there's a lot of movement, and a lot of the plots are cliché, and the whole cartoon reeks of just for kids. Then again, the comedic timing is there.
Ooh, let me see! Oh wait, I can't read. Give me that.
There are genuinely funny jokes an adult would get a laugh out of.
I can't be swimming around with a bunch of 5-year-olds. They can be so cruel. That's why on the first day, you have to beat up the biggest one in the yard.
Knuckles, that's prison.
Only if you let it be. Oh, I'm glad you woke me. I was having that dream where I show up at school wearing pants.
The characters have actual traits. This is somebody's passion project. Well, maybe two people. It feels like there's a writer and an animator that absolutely love making this cartoon, and it's kind of fun to see how much fun they had making it. But on the other hand, it's dissolved in what feels like people showing up for the paycheck. It could very easily gone the route of any other Sonic cartoon and just spent no time whatsoever on it, and just cash in because kids watch it anyway. But no, effort was put forth here, just not by everybody. There were people on this team that wanted Sonic Boom to be good so badly, and there were twice as many pushing back, it feels like. Whether it's harsh deadlines, censorship, Sega wanting it to stay in canon, I don't know. But Sonic Boom feels like a passion project with a good foundation trying to build a house in a neighborhood that lives in a perpetual state of tornadoes. So, Sonic Boom team, if you're watching this, thanks. You gave life to a dead franchise. As far as an update, I'm sorry I haven't really been active lately. Between finals, holidays, family coming over to visit, and me getting sick, I haven't been able to allocate time for TechHeart, but to make up for it, I'm having 2 TechHeart reviews come out this week. The next one will come out Sunday morning and is on Infinity Train. And also, as always, if you want me to review one of your works, I'll be glad to take a look at it. Leave a comment with a link and make sure it doesn't look like a post bot or spam. Ciao!